How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to another video, and today I thought I would try something a bit different. I've just picked up the Porsche Mission R car because I saw that there was a race which was actually going to go official in this thing for once, which never happens. So we're going to try it out. It's 3 laps of the Nordschleifer. I have never driven this car before until this lap you're seeing now. This is the first lap I ever did in the car. It feels pretty interesting, quite understeery, but it's got a lot of grip, a lot of traction, so it should be some good fun. Like I said, it's 3 laps of the Nordschleifer, and let's get straight into it, I guess. Fresh in the back, that is... Okay, guys, so here we are on the grid. We've got a standing start. I thought this was going to be a rolling start, but it's a standing start here. I'm the number 2 car, which I don't like, but oh well. I think we've got a grid of about 13 cars or so we're literally just going to see how we go. Hopefully we don't crash. Got about 10 seconds to go before the lights are on, and we're going to see what we can do. And here we go. Lights are on. Obviously, we can't hear anything because they're electric. It feels weird having such a silent grid. But it's green flag. And it's lights out. Away we go here at Nordschleifer. Down into turn 1. We've only got 1 gear, so there's no need to be shifting up into second. Through the first corner, we've got the number 1 on the right-hand side. Bit of an okay start for most of the field as we drop down the hill. Oh, and he's braking really hard through the right-hander there. I had to jump on the brakes to make sure I didn't go up the back of him. Into the left-hander. For the first time, this car, not the best feeling on cold tyres. It sort of handles a bit like the Titanic, to be completely honest. But all leaders going round. Where are we going? I'm going this way. That was very close, but we're gonna get away with it. That was incredibly close. I can't believe we got away with that. But the leader's off, and we are promoted to 3rd place in this race as we head up towards the Flugplatz, up the hill. I am starting to forget the names of these corners, so please bear with me. Through the right-hander we go, 200 kilometers an hour, first gear, and not too bad. Obviously, we can see we've got the little steering input lights on the left and right. They are quite cool, but they don't really line up with the wheel, so I don't really know how they work. But up towards the something or other, into the left-hander, a little bit of braking just to stay behind the guys in front. I don't want to push too hard while everybody's on cold tyres. We're in a really good place at the moment. So let's just not make any mistakes. Car behind has got off the road. That is good for us because it opens up the gap even more. But this number 1 car is really going for the lead of the race. I don't see it ending particularly well, especially as we head down into the compression. But here we go. Going to get on the brakes early just to stay behind. A little bit of understeer through the left-hander, and then into the right-hander. This is going to be a little bit easier. But it does feel very weird at the fact that we don't have to... Well, I don't have to change gears. The car only has 1 gear, and it feels weird not being able to change them, because normally that is how you would get a car turned in if you were struggling with understeer or whatever, but it's just not an option on this car. Through the left-hander we go. This car behind me is a bit all over me, and he's gonna have a look. I did go a bit wide there. That was not ideal. And he's gonna go to the right-hand side. He's gonna come up the inside. There he goes. Nice move there from the number 4. I'm not gonna fight him too hard at the moment. We're gonna tuck him behind as the yellow car has been passed for the lead of the race. And we're gonna see what we can do tucked in behind the number 4 car. As through the triple right we go up towards the hairpin on the brakes. Click that apex. Oh, and late on the brakes there. That is a corner which is actually fairly tricky to get correct in the Mission R, is that little hairpin. There's up towards left-hander here. This is going to be a fairly long race, so we're just going to settle in for now, and we're going to see really if we can just survive. We were in a really nice position up the front here. I'm not normally up the front of the pack, but it's not the highest split in the world, which is a good thing. It's better for me. But through the left-hander we go. First gear, obviously. Takes away a lot of my commentary lines that I can say, because I talk about gears a lot, and I can't talk about gears because it's always in first. But Jesse Glaze in the number 2 has been passed again. That is the number 4 going past. Looks like he doesn't have a whole lot of pace at the moment. He was talking about something in the chat, saying he was going to let people through if he was slow. He was saying that in the text chat earlier, so If I get the opportunity, I might just go past. There is a crash behind us somewhere, and up towards Bravery Corner. Really awful experience in this car through there. It's not great, but that wasn't too bad. Up towards the next crest, getting it turned in, right-hander. Not too bad. And, oh, someone's used the R word. We can't have that. Oh, this car's going very wide. The 4 and the 6 both going wide there through the right-hander. Up towards the carousel, we're going to see what we can do. I clipped the curb there, and that unsettled the Porsche quite a bit. Not too bad. As through the carousel we go. That was a nice line. We were the quickest out of the top 4 there. Definitely. Up to the left-hander. They are really having to go at each other in the chat, but we'll ignore them. Left-hander, right-hander, not too bad. Yellow car's up on the curb, and we're going to make our way through into the trickiest part of the track. I haven't done this section of the track in the car yet. I only managed to get to the carousel on the warm-up before I had a little crash, so this is going to be new for me. Into the right-hander, not too bad. And looks like the number 4 is really pressuring for the lead of this race on lap 1. Obviously, we got 3 laps, 3 very long laps. I don't really know what sort of times the Mission R is gonna do. Which I have no idea. I don't even know what this car compares to with everything else on the service in terms of performance and lap time. So we'll see. I mean, in a way, it kind of feels like a GT4. In the way it handles. Obviously, I think it's a bit quicker in a straight line than a GT4, but we might have to compare that later. Is into the right-hander, over the crest, over quite a few crests here at the Nordschleife, and I just need to stay as close to that yellow car as I can. I'm hoping that he's going to make a mistake, and I might be able to slip past, but they are still fighting for the lead of this Grand Prix. As up towards the right-hander we go. And the car, once you're on warm tyres, it does actually feel fairly twitchy. As ooh, a little bit of a snap coming out of that left-hander into the mini carousel. I absolutely hate that corner with a passion. The only corner on this track that I do hate, but I hate it. Is up into the right-hander, sort of getting towards the end of this first lap. Round we go. The gap is 2 seconds as we head onto the Dottenhur here. Not too bad. And it's 1 second between all the cars. We're going to go over here on the off chance that we pick up a slipstream, which I don't think we will. We're 2 seconds back. That is, I highly doubt that is slipstream range in the Porsche Mission R. Up to 270 kilometers an hour though, so it is definitely no slouch in a straight line. With the instant torque, it is mega quick out of some of these corners. But as we go up to under the Bilstein Bridge, we actually gained a tenth of a second on the cars in front, so we must have had a pretty good exit into the final complex of corners. And I was quite brave through there. That was not too bad. First gear for the final section, and we gained a 10. 2 more laps to go in this race. That is 1 lap completed. As we head up towards turn 1 again, and we are gaining. Oh, no. That is not good. That is going to be a 2x for a loss of control. But it's okay. We're going to keep going. Wow, that really caught me off there. I was just thinking in my head how I don't want to spin out because it would cost me a hell of a lot of time. But I have spun out, but everybody is miles behind me. So, damage limitation is not too bad. I'm going to bump the brake bias up ever so slightly because I was on the brakes for quite a while. And that just, yeah, car just didn't have it. Lost the rear going into turn 1. And not my finest hour, but it's all good. We're going to press on. The next car behind is 12 seconds behind me. So as long as we don't have any major accident, I think we're going to be okay in 4th place here. It's over the Flugplatz. Just a little bit of air on those front wheels. But now we're going to see if we can make up the 5 seconds back to Jesse Glaze in the number 6 car. The leaders are still fighting. They are a tenth apart. If they had an accident, that would be very good for me. Braking into the left-hander, just a little bit, and then more braking for the right-hander. This big hairpin. I love this corner, and there it goes. Braking traction again. So it seems to be if you just dab the brakes a bit in the middle of the corner, it seems to compression lock and spin you out. That is what I'm looking for as we head through the compression. We're gonna keep moving on. I'm running out of things to say in this race. A little bit more braking. And then there you go. See, that was a bit better. See, I'm not really using too much of the brake. I dabbed it there, and that really got it turned in. And it looks like they've swapped positions for the lead of the race. That's interesting. And they lost about 2 seconds through there, so they must have been in a pretty big battle. It's past Rebel Tree, we just went into the left-hander. So yeah, like, I don't have too much pace in this car at the moment. This probably isn't the track to do your first ever race in a car in. But hey, we're going to work with it into the right-hander. And it is, yeah, it's a lot of lifting and coasting. Not because we're saving electricity or anything, but just because it seems to be the best way to keep the car planted and on the tarmac. Because through the double right-hander we go again. Every set, like, and also, interestingly, every sector, we seem to be gaining about 2 seconds on the car behind me. So that is definitely not going to be an issue in terms of pace in this race. But out we go of the hairpin. And it's turning into a bit of a lonely affair down here in 4th. We're in a really good spot to pick up a good result. So that is good. But it isn't the most entertaining. How do I feel about the car? Like, it feels fun enough. I'm sure in a battle this would be absolutely phenomenal. On its own, it doesn't feel too bad. It's got some interesting handling quirks, but, you know, with a little bit of time, at least for me, I feel like I could be fairly quick in this car. In a way, it does sort of suit what I like. You know, a bit understeery. It's got a lot of instant torque, which I'm a big fan of. And it's got a lot of acceleration out of corners. But, crucially, it does have a lot of grip. Like, apart from that spin, you've seen, I've been on the power, and I've been on full power pretty much straight away, like, coming out of some of these corners. And it sticks. Like, there isn't really much, like lighting up of the rear wheels as we head out of some of these corners through the kink. That was a really nice line. And with the pace that I'm doing at the moment, I seem to be matching Jesse in front. He seems to pull a few tenths on me in spots, and then I get a few tenths back in corners, but we seem to be, over the course of one lap of the Nordschleifer, oh, I've missed the carousel there, but yeah, like, over one lap of the Nordschleifer, we seem to be fairly even. I lost a lot of time there since I missed the carousel. That was not ideal. But we're going to rise up the hill. That is a fairly easy corner in this car. And into left-hander, nice apex. Right-hander, a nice apex again. One also thing with this car, since it's on the old tyre model, it does warm up the tyres fairly quickly. On cold tyres, it feels awful, but once it's warm, definitely a lot more satisfying to drive. But I mean, you could say that about pretty much every car, couldn't you? Through the right-hander we go, nice. Braking down the crest. Trying not to have an accident. Still, like, you know, every corner I do in this video, I'm just learning, processing what the car is doing, learning how it behaves, what it does, where I can be quick and where I need to be safer. But this whole race is basically just a learning experience, because this is the first time I've ever raced this car. But I am enjoying it. I think it is definitely a car which I can see myself driving, pardon me, driving more and more as over the jump, and getting a bit of airtime in the Mission R. It does feel like it is quite heavy, though. I didn't have a look at the stats of this car and what it has before I registered, but it does feel very heavy. It feels like a very heavy machine, as, through some of these right-handers. And it's got quite, at times, it does have quite heavy steering. As into the right-hander we go, getting close to that enormous curb, and we lost time in the carousel, but we actually have gained, you know, on the exit of the carousel, the gap was 7.9 seconds. We've actually gained a second back on Jesse in the middle part of that lap. We just lost a bit of it there through the mini carousel. But, you know, we're actually, in certain spots, in certain parts of this lap, we are not too bad compared to the person in 3rd place. You can see him just up there. The leaders have pissed off like a stabbed rat up in front. The gap is now 13 seconds to us. But crucially behind, you know, we've got 22 seconds out the back, so we've got a pretty nice gap there, as it's the number 1 car against the number 4 car for the leaders race. Past the tourist centre, on the right-hand side. We got 7.1 seconds to Jesse in front. We're just going to say, yeah, we're going to see if we can catch him on this lap. If he makes a mistake, it's not going to look good for him. Remember, before we had that spin, we were about 2 seconds behind or so into the final section of this lap. We're going to get the white flag now. 1 to go at the Nordschleife. What is this lap going to be? I actually did have an X. The previous one was a 6-minute 55. That was a 7-minute dead. And there are people a lot faster than me. So this mission I was probably capable of doing close to a 5-minute. Probably wouldn't be that close, but I think it would be on the lower side. As whoa, I think the leaders have had a crash. Riley has lost it. He's just gone and lost 5 seconds. He's down to 11 seconds. That was the leader of this race. Oh, big snap there. Jesus bloody Christ. I so nearly lost it going into that right-hander. Once again, it's that pinching of the brakes and braking traction. That was really close, but we managed to save that. Very nice. And we're going to continue on our way up to the fluke flats. But if they're making mistakes, I don't know if they hit each other or anything, but if they are making mistakes, then it might be up to us to capitalize on that. We've still got 6.9 seconds to Jesse in front as we head up towards the left-hander over the crest and then braking into the left-hander there. Nicely done. And then hard on the brakes into the right-hander. Try not to pinch them or anything. That was a very nice line as we head up to the Xiaomi bridge. That was really good. Dropping down towards the compression. Jesse did gain a little bit of time on us. We gained three seconds on the car behind on this lap so far. So that's nice. Into the compression. Clip that curb. Really nicely done there. And oh, a little bit deep. That is not going to be the line we want, but we're still on the track, crucially. So that's nice. And then powering out of the corner. Somehow we still gained time on Jesse through there, although I really cocked it up. He must have made a similar mistake to me. It's up to the left-hander. Hard on the brakes. And getting it turned in. Not too bad through there. Getting it turned in again. Nice. And it looks like Riley is still catching up with the leader. He's trying to make that deficit back up after some sort of spin. And we're going to go away down towards this little chicane. One of my favourites on this track. I love that chicane through there. It's so satisfying to get right. Through the triple right-hander. Not a bad line. Jesse losing a bit of time. Now the crucial part for this lap is making sure we get the carousel absolutely spot on. That is seen to be where the time is lost and or gained, as out of the hairpin we go towards the right-hander, dropping it down, getting it turned in, or up on that curb. Not ideal, but we're okay. We're going to continue on. Not my best line through there. I got a lot of understeer, but not too bad. As 7.4 seconds is now the gap between Jesse and myself. We're going to take this left-hander flat. Easy flat through there. Braking as you hit the exclamation part. Or the exclamation mark sign to the right-hander. Gained a little bit of time back. And now it's going to be flat up until Bravery Corner. Stay flat, because this is where Bravery, like it's called, this is where the Bravery kicks in if you want to gain time. This whole section, if you want to be quick, it's not on the car, it's very much on the driver as we rise up through some of these crests as we head around the mountain. 7.6 seconds now into Bravery Corner. And in we go. Not too bad. I don't think I was quick as I could have been, but it's not too bad. Into this kink. And we're just lifting off a tiny bit into the right-hander down here, going past some of the fans on the right-hand side. That was good. 7.6 is the gap. No! Jesse has made a mistake at the carousel. I just need to get this bang on, and we're going to gain a lot of time here. And we have. We've just gained a second on him through there. So he's obviously done what I did on the previous lap. Was rising up the crest. And I'm really pushing now to try and catch up to Jesse through the right-hander. Not too bad. Up on that curb. That's the last place I wanted to be there. And the gap is now briefly down to 5.9 seconds. And I'm really going to lock in. I'm going to stop looking at that relative until we get to the dot and cure, because this is where you need maximum concentration at the Nordschleifer, as into the right-hander on the brakes, getting close to that curb but not using it because that will launch the car, especially a car of this suspension geometry, the way it's so low to the ground. You will get absolutely sent into space if you use any of these curves. We can use this one over here because it's flat, braking for the right-hander, and I'm really on it at the moment, doing everything that I can to catch up to Jesse. Into the left-hander here, another good line, and powering out. It's going to stay to the right as we drop down the blind crest, and then through we go, nicely done. And then first gear, obviously, through the right-hander. And not sure if we're catching. I believe we've caught just a little bit of time on him, but it's nothing substantial as we drop down the hill. Full power very briefly, and then a dab of the brakes. Left, right, left as we go through. And then right-hander. Left-hander, not too bad. Not getting any sort of traction moments as we head into the mini carousel towards the end of this lap. That was the best I've done it so far. And up towards the right-hander, I still haven't looked at the relative yet. I don't know where we're going to be. We need to be less than 7 seconds to say we've gained any time at all. And out onto the dot, here we go. 6.3 seconds is the gap to Jesse. So we've basically matched each other through the middle part of that lap. Doesn't look like we're going to gain any more positions as we head up the back straight towards the final section. As up we go. There is the tourist section on the right. We're going to get down to 5.9 seconds. So unless he has a catastrophic accident, we are going to finish in P4. Under the Bilstein Bridge we go. We just caught a glimpse of him there. And then big commitment into the final section. We are not going to get close to Jesse in the number 6 car. Through we go. And it is going to be P4 at the Nordschleife in my first ever Mission R race. So honestly, not too bad of a run. There we go. There was the finish line. And we're going to cross the line now. Not too bad. I'm a little out of breath because I was doing a lot of commentating there. But that is not too bad at all. So I'm going to conclude it there. Hopefully you all enjoyed that video. It was a little dull. We didn't have many people to fight. But yeah, hopefully you all enjoyed. Stay safe, have an awesome day, make awesome choices. And I'm going to see you all in the next video. Take care, viewers. Bye-bye.